Alright, so just a disclaimer, this panel is about uplifting and encouragement. I guess criticism is welcome as long as it's constructive. And you could feel free to okay. So my name is Nolly. I'm gonna be performing tomorrow.
And I am Mike Staley, and I will also be performing tomorrow.
Shameless plug. Yeah, so this is the body positivity panel, and do you guys know what the body positivity is? Would you like to explain?
Kind of like feeling good about your body, like how it looks, not regardless of kind of maintaining beauty standards.
Yeah, basically. So body positivity, is just that, just be positive about your body. A really important part about body positivity, I feel, is to have a healthy relationship with your body. How old are you guys? 14, 15? Okay. So I feel like that's very important, especially at your age. It's important to have a healthy relationship. And what I mean by healthy is like, if you're doing things from a place of shame or like disgust or self-hatred, that's unhealthy, right? So like, let's say, oh, I have to gain 5 pounds because I'm so ugly, like, this and that, I'm so skinny. Or I have to lose weight because I look so ugly. That's more of like a negative standpoint. But at the same time, I think it's important to want to create the best self, your best self. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it's not like from a place of hate and stuff like that. But that's when it gets a little toxic. Realizing not all bodies are the same. So everyone's bodies are different, right? Some people can't make those gains. Some people cannot, lose as much weight. Some people can gain weight. So, and that's okay because, everyone's different, right? This is a big one. Health issues are not a reason to shame, demean, or concept. And that is very important because all types of health issues like mental health and physical health. Because a lot of people, they might, be where they are because of a physical condition or a mental, health issue. So it's important to realize that everyone has their own autonomy and, to just respect their decisions. Bobby, do you want to add something?
A good example, since we're at an anime convention, I'll give you a bit of a Japanese example. There was a book that a Japanese woman by the name of Naomi Moriyama wrote called Japanese Women Don't Get Old or Fat. And she, in the book, talks about moving to America for a very short time, not really putting on a huge amount of weight, a little bit, because different food. She went back to Japan, and her grandmother couldn't understand how she could at all be happy because she'd gotten fat. It's because standards can build up so much to what you should look like. And I think a lot of times we get so fixated on, oh, this is how I have to look. So,
in order to be happy, I have to look like this, and suddenly the happiness will come. And I feel like it's kind of romanticized, right? Like, oh, if I get the perfect body or whatever, the perfect hair, the perfect face, suddenly I'll be happy, which it can improve. If you're feeling like, oh, well, I'm not racist or something like that. But if you have, like I said, a really unhealthy relationship with yourself, you're not suddenly going to be happy, right? When you change something. All right, so the first topic is societal standards and media influence. This is all going to be related to people that are interested in Japanese culture and stuff like that. So media perception is very powerful in how we perceive ourselves, obviously. Right, and especially as like young kids and stuff, well, not kids, as young adults. I know how like tough it can be, right? You see all these pictures and like, you know, on the internet and on Instagram and whatever. I sound old, I'm not even done. And you think like, well, they look so perfect, right? Like, why can I look like that? Or like, not everyone feels like this, obviously, but a lot of people feel like that. So it's kind of like unrealistic because I think we see this media for so long, and we're thinking like, oh, this is how we're supposed to look. But even the people in the photos we were seeing, they don't even look like that because there's Photoshop, there's angles, there's shadows, there's highlights, there's things like that. So they don't even look like this realistic image that they're portraying, but like a lot of the times that's their job to portray like, oh, here's what you could, you know, look like, or like here's me and, or, I mean, it can't be helped sometimes because that is their job and like what they're there for, they're in public, but it's important to realize that like not everyone is like that, not even that. Yeah. Oh yeah. So now we're gonna talk about anime.
Yay!
And how fantasy and anime affect how we think. So if you notice, of course, in anime it's fantasy. So there's a lot of fantasy body types like boobs that hold the outlines of shirts for some reason, or like guys that are really, they have a long torso, really long, or, you know, things like that. And you have to remember that's fantasy. And it's like, you know, I understand like with cosplay, you're going to try to emulate that as best as you can because you're dressing up and it's fun. But, you know, anime is not reality. So that's important to realize. You know, sometimes I wish it was. But, yeah, so there's obviously a big difference between like a real woman and an anime woman, or like an anime guy and a real guy. And that comes down to personality and everything, but, you know, mainly body, as we're talking about. Yeah.
With anime, you rarely see characters that are ugly or fat. And when you do, they are always played as villains or for comedy.
Yeah.
They're always made out to be a joke, you know, constantly eating or, you know, having those like, big rough voices like this.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It seems though that the only flaws main characters tend to have usually are emotional, mental, psychological, because in these shows, those are more forgivable than physical flaws. Exactly.
Yeah.
For example, the famous anime style tsundere.
Yeah.
They act like horrible people to the main male protagonist. But you know at the end they're going to end up with them, and if they were not pretty, if it was a quote unquote ugly character with that same personality, they would not end up with the main character at the end.
Yeah, like things like when he was saying like mental illness is romanticized if they're attractive. Because if it was like a chubby character or something like that, they would be seen as, oh, this crazy, like, right? And also what he was saying about like the villains, if you notice a lot of times the villains have things such as like big lips and they're fat, or they have like big noses, or they look oldish and stuff. And I feel like that all ties in with like, this is bad, right? I know it's not said like straight out, and it's not the case all the time, but a lot of the times that's how it's portrayed, which I yeah.
Similar to with comics in cartoons here in America, these characters a lot of times are seen as role models. Good example for guys, for example, things like Superman, Batman, you see them all muscled up, looking big, tall, strong. That's what you're seeing as a role model, so that's what people want to look like. And then same with girls, a lot of times you get like the traditional, the Barbie dolls, designed with a certain look, which is what you are. And a lot of times girls want to aspire to be like that.
Yeah, and that goes for cosplay.
Mm. Yes. With cosplay, there is so much to it. The most common ones tend to be you are too fat or too skinny for this character. You're told that you can't cosplay this character if you don't fit their body type. For example, with women, Tsunade from Naruto. Very top-heavy, very busty. If a girl who's maybe a little skinnier, a little smaller, tries to cosplay as her, she's gonna get grief about it. At the same time, I remember reading recently a letter somebody wrote online suggesting that that we have a standard with, for example, Superman. And if we were to see a heavier person dressing up as Superman, they are insulting the creator by not looking accurate to the character, which is ridiculous because this is not a professional production. This is cosplay. It's meant to be fun.
Yeah.
I actually myself have kind of had a little of this. I, a while back, created a Green Arrow costume. After I finished it, I put some pictures on Facebook, and it's one of those things when you receive negativity, it always stands out. No matter how much good you receive, the few bad ones stand out. I got a whole bunch of great job, oh, it looks really good, all that kind of stuff. And then there was one person who said, you need to do arm curls. Now, this person is a friend of mine, and they intended it as constructive criticism. But the way they phrased it was just so insulting. And like I said, that was the only negative thing I got, but that's the one that really sticks with you, because a lot of times negativity just hits a lot harder than positivity.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Like, cosplay is supposed to be fun, right? So it's kind of sad when, oh, you don't look like the character. Well, yeah, you're not human, right? Like, yeah.
Another thing actually is crossplay. Girls dressing up like a male character, males dressing up like a female character. For one thing, there's a double standard to it. A lot of times when guys do it, it's considered creepy. Whereas when girls do it,
like funny, right?
a lot of times it's considered, oh, that's so hot, that's so sexy, even if that's not what they're intending. Automatically they hear, oh, it's a female version of such and such, that's hot. Even if that's not what they're intending, like in your case. Again, it's fun.
Yeah.
Next section on the cosplay, one more, is the idea of sexy cosplay. And this is people who intentionally do like sexy version of a particular character. Two of the most common examples, Jessica Nigri and Yaya Hani. Now, a lot of times though, you hear people give them grief of, oh, they don't care about the cosplay, they're just doing this because they want to look sexy in the costume. And, well, I'm sure there are people that do that.
Which is, by the way, if I could interject, it's completely okay to want to be sexy, right? Because it's your body. So if you want to be a sexy Pikachu, you can be a sexy Pikachu. I mean, there's really nothing wrong, I feel, with owning your sexuality. You know?
And at the end of the day, people like those two and others like them. It may not be necessarily the way I would do it, but that doesn't make it any less, them enjoying the cosplay. And once again, they're just trying to have F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me.
Oh my god.
N is for anywhere, anytime at all. Thank
I
you.
knew that.
I totally forgot about that.
So I got it.
Oh yeah. So the next, and then after this, we're gonna talk about like just like how we could, lower self-improvement. But the last kind of negative topic is standards for idols, like Japanese pop idols or K-pop idols or whatever. So I'm really into idol culture, by the way. Like that's the type of music I primarily perform. So I don't know if do you guys know about idols? Oh, who's your favorite idol?
I'm not really into it.
Oh, okay.
I just know what it is. I just never really.
Have you seen that movie?
I've heard of it.
It's anyways. So the standard idol, right? Like the K-pop idol or J-pop idol, we're talking about Japanese. The standard idol has to be a certain weight, which is the formula is, I think it's like something times point. Oh, it's your weight times 0.8 divided by. It's a really like it's a formula, right? So basically, if I was an idol, right, I'm 5'5" and I'm 175 pounds. If I was an idol, I would have to be like 112 or like something like that. Which is like, yeah, some people are that way, but I'm not, right? So I wouldn't be considered an idol because of my weight. And it seems like, oh yeah, well, they sign up for it, so that should be that. But a lot of idols have gone over the weight limit, and a lot of idols are like your age, right? They're like in high school, they're growing, or like I said, they just have different body types. Some might be like, skinnier or like chubbier. And if you're too skinny or if you're too fat, those idols have gotten a lot of hate for that. Like there's a specific example, Suzuki Kama from the Musume. She was like the chubby member, right? And she got a lot of hate, like people saying, oh, she will put Morning Musume to disgrace. Things like that. There was a really skinny member in Morning Musume also called Karma. And people have compared her to actual victims, that's not nice. That's not nice. Like, I know the sexual sin to such a degree, right? And they do it under the guise of, oh, well, I care because I care about their health. But that's not conducive to a healthy person, right? That just messes up their head. So there was this instance where this singer from Memorial Japan called Tagami Reni. Yes. So they had a weigh-in, right? There was like a bunch of people and they were weighing themselves in front of the audience of primarily 30 and up men. So this was like around their debut, and one of the members was like a few pounds overweight, and she didn't get to debut because of that, and she had to lose weight. But she ended up losing a lot of weight, and then people were worried that she was like anorexic because of all the weight she had lost. So that's a really good example. Even though they're idols and there are like things they have to uphold, it's a good example of how the diet industry and stuff like that can have a negative effect on people, especially when they're young. They take this to heart. It's like, especially if you're publicly weighing it. Yeah. So I put a note, like strict exercise, body grooming always has to look great at what cost. The cost is usually an unhealthy mind, an unhealthy relationship with your body. And I don't feel like, that's not possible. That's not what body positivity is about. So I want to ask, has anyone of you experienced any personal things in regard to that?
I mean, I personally
mean, you don't have to share.
In regards to like cosplay or just like
Yeah, like anything.
Well, I mean, I always I think the weird thing about it is that people are, and this is obviously not everyone, but like a lot of people are, you know, they're very positive towards other people who are cosplaying someone really confident that has a different body type and just totally rocking it, or like they're very positive towards other people, but then when they do something like that, they just feel very negative about themselves, even though they appreciate it in other people. Like with yourself, it's just this whole different perspective.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, that happens. I think that's just sort of like a natural thing.
Yeah.
You become like ultra sensitive of yourself and like how you look and stuff like that. Yeah.
Actually, one of the things that can always be the toughest is accepting praise when you don't feel it yourself, because it kind of goes back to what I was mentioning about that one negative comment. If you feel yourself, you know, that you aren't living up to a standard, no matter how much people may try to, you know, tell you, no, you know, you look good, you know, you should feel good, that kind of thing. It's very hard to break through that.
Yeah. So, right, how do we get to that place, right, of self-acceptance? And not, I feel like, also like how you view others says a lot about yourself. So yeah, how you view others says a lot about yourself also. Because a person that is usually very negative has, you know, a bit of something going on or something like that. So the first thing I put is establish a sense of self not dependent on outside forces. So like compliments are nice and like, you know, love from your family and stuff is nice. But it's really important to not base your self-worth on their comments, because that's when things get a little bad. The second thing I put is become aware of yourself, your positive and your negatives. It's important. It doesn't, you know, make you a bad person, but it's good to realize, you know, what's negative and what's positive, because we're multidimensional, where everyone has a bunch of quirks and stuff. And just like work on whatever you want to work on. The third point I put is prove to yourself that you're worth love and teach yourself to rely less on outside validation. So I know like when I was growing up in high school, I got bullied a lot. So I took that as a sign of like, well, if people hate me, not, I know it's like a strong word, and it probably was more of a reflection on themselves, now that I'm aware of realize that. But I kind of, you know, felt like, well, I guess I'm not worthy, right, of like love and acceptance because I didn't feel it. So I know that doesn't happen with everyone, but you know, it's important to prove to yourself that you're worth love, even if for some magical reason no one loves you. At least you love yourself. Treat your body well, as it does so much for you. That's very important, you know, like, I know everyone has their issues and they're going through their things, but if you try at least once a day to just do something good for your body, whether it's like eat a healthy meal or like exercise or like go outside or just, you know, brush your teeth or take a shower, that's very important because your body does a lot for you. Right. Be the best you can be. Your standards for greatness will not match everyone else's. So what you think is great, you know, won't be someone else's idea of their purpose or their best self, I should say. And that's okay, because, you know, people are not the same. Don't project your fears and anxieties on others, right? And that's what I was going about when people are negative, they just tend to project it out in the world. If you notice yourself being a very negative person, it's good to become aware that doesn't mean that you're bad or anything. It's just good to work on that negativity in your soul and stuff. Oh, and this is the most important. society does not always promote a positive way of thinking. So you have to learn to spot the difference between healthy and negative and unhealthy experience. So just because it's like the majority says this is how this is, doesn't mean that it's exactly the healthiest, right? Like, for example, a high mentality is like, well, if you are fat, you're unhealthy and you should hate yourself. That's not true. You shouldn't hate yourself, and that's not going to help anything. That could actually be worse. So, you know, if you think that you're a little overweight, you can be healthy, it's good to accept that, but it's not good to just loathe yourself and be like, oh my God, I'm such an embarrassment and I'm going to hide. And, you know, that's not. Okay.
One thing, I only really have one thing to add to that, and that is it's good to try to find an outlet of positivity. Something that when you're feeling down, it always brings you up. For example, a movie that you like, that you always feel good when you watch it, a video game, anything like that. For me, I like to pop onto YouTube sometime when I'm feeling down and find some of my favorite YouTubers. Even if it's not necessarily a video I've watched before, if I know that their videos always put me in a good mood, if I'm feeling bad, I'm going to go there and I want to watch some of their stuff because it just brings me up. It's good to find that kind of outlet. And sometimes it can be supportive friends, but it doesn't always have to be, as she said, an external thing.
Yeah, but if there's like too much negativity, obviously, you should tell someone. Don't just like watch TV. Okay, so now I don't know if you guys want to play this game. It's kind of corny, but I thought it would be a good idea to like talk about things that you like. You don't have to come up and write it. You can just, because there's only like 3 of you, and then your mom. So you could just talk about one thing you like about yourself, because we hardly like, say that out loud. So, yeah.
I'll go ahead and pull one up first, just for myself.
Oh yeah, then I'll go ahead. Your eyes.
My eyes are one of the parts that I've always felt confident about. I actually also was bullied quite a bit in school. I think a lot of it came because I was shy when I was a kid. So that made me an easy target. And growing up, it actually hindered a lot of my self-confidence because I got it from both boys and girls, which led me to really having poor confidence, especially when it came to, asking girls out, things like that, because I so convinced myself they're not going to like me because growing up, they didn't really like me. But the one thing that I always had really good confidence in were my eyes.
Okay. My legs. I know that sounds like weird. But I really like my legs because they're very strong and they get me where I need to go. And, like, people may think my legs are fat, but they're strong to me. Yeah. And they're also chubby. But that's fine. I'm fine with it. Okay, so you want to start?
I was thinking about saying hair, but sometimes I like really hate my hair. So I'm gonna go with teeth because my teeth are just naturally straight.
That's amazing.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I spent 4 years
I
with
used to
braces.
have gaps, and then I lost them all, and then they grew back, and they were like, wait, what just happened?
I spent 4 years with braces to get them straightened, and at this point in my life, they're going crooked again. So I am jealous.
I always think that, I keep them straight because it makes me feel like I'm grasping, but
No,
you're not
you should be happy about it.
Yeah, that's the whole point. You should be happy about, being positive. That's really valid.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're not good.
I love your nose. It's really cute.
Oh,
Everyone likes your hair.
My eye.
Yeah. Alright. Well, considering you guys should share this. It's a bunch of snacks. It's really well, it's like, it's refurbished.
Yeah, we needed a box to put the stuff in.
Yeah, but it's like,
There's a whole bunch of good stuff. It's ramen, do-it-yourself stuff.
yeah, that's really